What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Rick and Morty video. I will not sugarcoat it. This season, in my opinion, has been the worst for me so far. Boring, mishmash plots with almost zero lore, and the entire characters being heavily different to anyone they have been so far. My highlights were Mr. Nimbus and Planet Tina, just because those episodes were just so expertly written. But the rest has been largely forgettable. That was up until now. This episode was creative, fun, and allowed seeing the past without tackling the insanity in Pandora's box of time travel, which Rick says or has said that it just shows that this is a decline, which, yeah, I will admit that time travel is a problematic device and when introduced is tough to put back in the box. Now we pick up after season 4 where Phoenix Person, but we will be calling him Bird Person, was in Rick's garage. After the family head off, we don't get another Pickle Rick, but we get Rick injecting his brain or mind or memories. I think that's how it works into this, and I like this despite the warnings of the AI. Personally, I thought the AI stuff felt really flat, but I did chuckle when she found a random person to help her get batteries, and when he returns he is told to screw off. The title and episode is a reference to Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where Jim Carrey's character heard his ex-girlfriend had erased memories of him only for him to attempt the same thing, and it all goes completely wrong. Now, personally, I thought this was much more enjoyable than that movie, and I find Kaufman's work to be incredibly nauseating. As you can tell, he just writes the most batshit insane stuff just for the sake of it. But I can't deny that the direction and Jim Carrey in that movie is pretty good. Of course, there's also the references to Inception with the layers of memories, and also, of course, the stuff with the projections. Cool sequences of a bird skull as Rick keeps his clothes but gets Yoki balls, which was pretty funny, as he drops into Burning Man Palooza, which made me think of Lollapalooza. Of course, that's the reference in Chicago, I think it was, with all those huge crowds of people. Insane. But he looks for Bird Person, and we see a much younger Bird Person and Rick meet for the first time as they share a rip on an alien bong. However, he finds himself in a memory of Bird Person and the younger version of himself in a shootout with other Ricks. After Loki, it's hard to, well, not say variants of Rick. Now, this pays into the throwaway line later, where we have the younger Rick mention that this Rick actually goes around and lives with abandoned adult Beths, which is key. Now, we know this life changed forever when he discovers multiversal travel. Later, young Rick would explain how Rick is just someone going around finding adult Beths that have been abandoned and adopting the family without them knowing. It's not clear why or how this happened, or at least what happened to Beth, but, well, Rick is out for revenge, and it's possibly an early Citadel or Council of Ricks that took out Beth. This would explain why Evil Morty would want to take out the Citadel from the inside. He despises all Ricks, even our main one, as he could be the 187's Beth's Morty. Yeah, crazy. Now, we also have references, like I said, to Inception, as each person is a projection, except main Rick, as young Rick finds him, and we see them join together after BP's consciousness watches over Tammy, and he remembers her as kind, but BP wants to end all of this, and Rick is attacked by the Federation. But we see them ravage BP's planet, and that little nugget confirming that C-187's Beth died is huge, as this Morty is not his Morty. Let's not also forget that, of course, we had the squirrel episode, and we had the episode where they bury their bodies in the backyard and find another family. So we are on like a different level and layer of which family is real. However, the Ricks head to a main memory node as Bird Person blows it up and doesn't want to be saved. Rick is desperate to save his friend and even heads to their Vietnam. They head to Blood Ridge, that has been mentioned before in the show. I think it was in the party episode where all of Rick's friends came out as well. And this was an uprising against the Gromflamites, the leading alien race in the Galactic Federation. This sequence might be my favourite of the season and possibly in the top 10 at least in the entire show. The 80s synth music and 80s sci-fi outfits was so amazing. It's also a heartbreaking moment where we see Rick and BP's friction as BP is cold. However, the Ricks locate Bird Person and a kind version of Tammy, and it's here that Rick reveals that, well, he found a child that was kind of really buried down in his memory, and they had a child together, but as Tammy says, the child was put in a prison. They steal what looks like a Halo Warthog and go about escaping. We see Geardude's funeral, and we learn why we have the actual gear guy that they hang out with, and Rick explains, hey, did you never wonder why we hang out with him? And Squanchy's terrible stand-up, which did make me laugh. Seeing the lore this way is superb, and I can tell the creators aren't too keen on giving us too much lore, but the drip feed is excruciating, but well worth the wait. And I really hope that we get some sort of webisode or something that shows the adventures of Rick and the rest of those freedom fighters, which I really liked. However, the problems with Rick and BP are not resolved as he goes off to look for his child. I think that Rick is, for the once, right here. He went in selflessly to fix his friend, and Bird Person's a total jerk in my eyes here. However, Rick goes off to create his younger self. The younger self transferred into him, or at least the memory that is, and he's going to go and give him a body, which I'm sure will show up later. Now, in the post-credit, we see the child, which is super angry and super powerful, half mega bitch and half bird. Now, I did think that the Federation was over, as they were defeated for a second time last season. It's an odd one, and I imagine we'll have to wait for the finale, which had better be lore. I hope so. The finale will air in just under a month's time. There's going to be an hour special, which explains the wait. It's been a disappointing season thus far, but this episode made it all worthwhile. It was creative, fun-filled, and most of all, just damn enjoyable. It's the reason I watch this show. In the promo for next week, the question is asked, who is Rick without Morty? So we are in for a lore-filled treat episode, I think, and it's going to be fun seeing where this goes next. I hope we get some answers of what happened to Diane, what happened to OG Beth. Is this his real Morty? Probably not. Will we see Evil Morty return? I really, really hope so. It's been a long time. We haven't had him. I mean, last season we had the Story Train Vision version of him, but we've not had the true Evil Morty. But that's it for this video. Please drop a like down below. Do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.